Welcome to my channel, guys. Today we are going to be digging deep into the past and we're going to be doing a full face of makeup on makeup that you completely forgot existed. I did this video on my TikTok and it exploded. It went so viral. I'm sure some of you guys saw it. It got like over 5 million views and I talked about all this makeup from the past, and I guess I'm kind of from the past, so people connected the two and they were like, oh my God, nostalgia. So I thought I would do it for my YouTube channel. I've been doing YouTube for almost 11 years and some of you guys have followed me for almost 11 years. So you guys have grown up with me and been with me for such a long time. And I just had to say it's such a freaking honor, like truly, to spend so much time with me. And I wanted to do this video just, you know, a throwback. But there's no better way to start a video like this one without the one and only subscribe song. So let's sing it. Subscribe to my channel before you leave. Subscribe. Oh, and that is for all my throwback girlies, all my people that have been with me. And if you're new here, you probably just exited the video because you have no idea what's going on. Anyway, subscribe to my channel before you leave and let's jump right in. Okay, first throwback is primers. I remember when primers really hit the market big. They were all the rage and people were like, do you really need this product? Do you not? I'm still on the fence about that, okay? But I have two that had chokeholds on us, okay? First, we have the Hangover RX, one of my favorites. It's more just like a moisturizer, this one, to prep your skin. It has coconut water, electric lights, probiotics, it's silicone free. They still sell this. They actually still sell this at Smashbox. So this is the photo finish. This has been around before I was born. Okay, it hasn't been around before I was born, but it's been around for a really long time. This one's more silicone-y, more pore filling, more smoothing. This one's more hydrating. Let's use both for fun. Also, how do I end up with a zit in between my eyebrows? I think that's so rude. By the way, this is not a new one. This is an expired product from like 2018. So just know, like, we're doing the real deal here. I don't recommend using, you know, expired makeups. This is more of a do as I say, not as I do. Oh, this primer feels so good on my skin. Why did I ever stop using it? Because they come out with like a million primers, that's why. But you know, I'm more of a moisturizer girl. I'm more like prepping the skin through moisture rather than primer. By the way, sorry about my last video. Like I watched the intro back and I was like, wow, you're not there. I was half asleep. I happened to film that video in the morning and I'm literally like, welcome to my channel, guys. Like, I'm gone, guys. I was too tired, so it wasn't good. So I left a comment and I was like, sorry guys, I was half asleep in that. Okay, let's add a little bit of this smoothing and blurring primer from Smashbox. Now, I still like these primers, okay? Call me crazy, but these are still great products. This one's brand new. They actually did like a revamp and sent us it in PR, so this one's actually not expired. Ooh, I forget you gotta shake this one. You have to give it a little mixture or else it gets juicy like a ketchup bottle. Okay, there we go, there we go. It's like a clear, silicone-y primer. I just like to use this by like pressing. We press it into those pores and just areas that you have texture, you want a bit of smoothness, you don't have to put this all over your skin. You can just apply this and then let it settle in for a few seconds, okay? Don't get crazy with foundation. Just let it settle and then do your foundation. Old school tutorial, you gotta love it. Okay, now let's talk about foundation a little bit. I had a lot to pick from. I no longer have my KV Full Coverage Lock-It foundation. I'm trying to remember, maybe you guys can help me remember, what was the foundation I used the most back then? Like, what was the one I was always grabbing to? I know the Too Faced Born This Way was one of them. I pulled these two. These are two that I still have. Now, we've done so many makeup clean outs that it's like, you know, I've gotten rid of so much, unfortunately. Do you guys remember El Makiage? Like, whenever they came out with this, it was supposed to be like revolutionary, like, oh my God, like the craziest, best foundation ever. And some people like it and some people hated it, okay? I think it's just a foundation. And then you have Estee Lauder Double Wear, which this is still a good one. It just got so hyped and popular back then. It was like the girls, it girl makeup. The thing is, they're both still great. I still like both. I'm gonna use this one because it's in 3N2 Wheat. It's my shade, so I wanna use the Estee Lauder. Also, this one's so bomb. So we're gonna use this right here. The pump is a little stiff on it. I gotta like put it in some alcohol to like get the cloggage out, but we're just gonna put the wand on our face. I need a new bottle anyway, so if you're like, ew, you're putting germs in your makeup, baby, this is expired, okay? This is like 7 years old, so I don't think the germs on my face are what's gonna kill this one, you know what I mean? Okay, so typically if we were living in the land of like 2016, 2018, Laura Lee would grab a Morphe Y6 Kabuki brush, But I don't have that brush anymore is the thing, okay? But one thing I did create is the L11, which is this same thing essentially. Flat top, nice, dense, smooth, soft kabuki brush. And we do still sell this at LarleyLosAngeles.com. It's one of our best-selling products. Look at this foundation. Oh my God, it's so pretty, you guys. It's so pretty. Wow, wow, wow. I will say, after I made the TikTok trying all these old expired products, I like fell back in love with this foundation and I wore it for like 2 weeks straight. Like I couldn't stop. So now I'm gonna be doing that again. Again, I am the shade 3 in 2 Wheat. It is such a pretty neutral beige shade. It's perfect for my skin tone. And I love blending my foundation out with kabukis. You know that is just the tea. I don't know how many Y6 kabuki brushes we sold in total at Morphe, but after I became no longer a code pusher, I was like, I started my own brand. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm gonna create my own Y6 brush. That's just the tea of the situation. And I did that. And like, we've done multiple brush sets with the L11 Kabuki, and it's just been a bestseller for us because you guys know these flat top kabukis are just the best to blend out this makeup. If you guys want to check this out, it is sold out individually, but we do have it in our brush kit, and you get 11 brushes, face and eyeshadow brushes, plus a makeup bag for $55. So it's an incredible deal. So for this video only, I'm gonna give you guys a discount code, and it's gonna make our 11-piece brush set $45 with the brush bag. So you get 11 brushes, eye and face brushes, including the L11 Kabuki with the brush bag. We have never, ever discounted our brush set, and it's only for this video. So I'm gonna put the code and it's gonna make the brush set 45 bucks. So you guys check that out. I'll link that down below with the code. So next, if we're, in 2016, 2018, anywhere in that time frame, the next thing I would grab is the Tarte Shape Tape. I think this one had a chokehold on all of us. I can't remember what other concealers were popular at that time. You guys gotta remember, this was so many years ago. Like, I have a hard time remembering. I know this one was like one of the mains. Now, I would be doing triangles under my eyes right now if it were that year. I'm gonna do a mixture, by the way. I'm gonna do a little bit of 2024 makeup meets 2016 makeup in this video. But like, what other concealers was I grabbing for? I know the Too Faced Born This Way is another one that I would always grab for. I was trying to think. I couldn't just use Tarte. Maybe I did. I don't remember. I'm using a beauty blender today. I typically blend out my concealer with a brush, but I am trying to get back into this old school makeup. So, I would grab a beauty blender, I feel like. I used a beauty blender a lot more back then than I do now. I still love beauty blenders, like they're great. But for me, it's just easier with a brush. I feel like I have more control where the product's going. And I'm just really good using a brush. I have always been more talented with a brush than a sponge, but sponges also give you like that nice airbrush finish, but they also will eat your product up, honey. Sponges are notorious for absorbing that product. As far as cream contour, do you guys remember when KKW Beauty, who is no longer a brand, came out with these contour sticks, and they were like the most revolutionary thing Kim's ever done at the time, and now it's like crickets. But I will say, she just launched her new makeup line, so I'm excited about that. I remember us going to her house. She was so smart about launching these. She said, y'all are about to come to my house. We're all gonna be doing that. We're gonna be filming the show, and that's how we're gonna launch this makeup. Like, Miss Kimberly does not play. I love that you can't get these anymore, and I'm using 100% expired crust. I love it. It's all in the spirit of old school makeup. I'm gonna take the L34. This is a rounded kabuki. This one actually kind of looks more like caramel than like a bronzer stick. Like, when I blend it out, it's kind of like caramelly. Is that weird? I feel like cream products have expanded so much since then, and like makeup has changed, like the industry, so much for the better too since then, especially with TikTok and like the new TikTok influencers. Hopefully TikTok stays around though. I'd be very, very sad that got deleted, but I love the new wave of makeup. I love the way makeup looks now. I love the evolution of it. It's just all so good. I actually use the medium contour, and in my humble opinion, that was more like a light contour. I don't know. These are also like just crusted and dusted, but actually they are still blending out really nicely after all these years, which is pretty impressive to say about the formula, because these should be dried and in the grave right now, but here they are. Okay, as far as blush, I almost never wore blush back then. Blush was not my thing. I liked this matted out look that was like very heavy, focused on the eyes, less on the cheeks. But we're gonna go ahead and set our face, and then we're gonna jump into some blush. By the way, if you guys like my Star Wars tea, I'll I'll link it down below. It's from Abercrombie and I just love it. I actually like Star Wars, so. Okay, velvet sponges were not as much of a thing back then, but we're gonna use them today. I told you it's gonna be a mixture. So the Laura Mercier setting powder is what I'm using, and what is ironic about that is that this setting powder has really stood the test of time because it's a setting powder that I still use, but if you look back at all my throwback videos and tutorials and all, I always grab for this setting powder, so it's like some things didn't change in a way. I feel like setting powder though is just like one of those staple products that like you don't need to alter that much once you have a good one, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's one of those products that we can just keep using as is as long as they remove the talc from it. Okay, this mug is set. So I don't have, you know, a lot of blushes left from 2016. Granted, blush was not like all the rage. I would say eyeshadow palettes were more so the thing that everybody would collect. However, I do have this old blush from MAC. It's called Dainty. I don't know if you guys remember this. I'm sure they still sell it because MAC doesn't really get rid of stuff. And for bronzer, I was gonna do Hoola, but I was like, everyone still uses that. So I have a better one because it's supposed to be makeup you forgot about. But this is Dainty and it is one of the prettiest MAC blushes out there. I wonder if they still sell it. If they do, I'll link it down below because oh my God, it has this nice sheen to it. I'm gonna use our angled L31 brush and we're just gonna get some Dainty. I'm like, please still have pigment. We're gonna get some Dainty on this brush because in this day and age, oh, yes, you see the pink? Honey, we're still blushing. We're blushing in this day and age. Wow, look at that, look at that. She still has pigment. What a pretty blush, oh my God. Okay, who out there, comment down below, is still using makeup from 2016? Don't lie, tell me if you're still using products that are 7 or 8 years old. With powder products, you can get away with it a little more. With cream products, I honestly recommend that you renew, revamp, re-up, even if you do it with a more affordable product, whatever that may be. Cream products just tend to dry out and get a little crusty. Okay, are you ready for bronzer, powder bronzer specifically? Because this is a testament to time, okay? Do you guys remember the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer? And it smelled like chocolate. Oh, it still smells like chocolate. How crazy is that? Still smells like chocolate. And I'm gonna use the same brush because this one just really contours the cheeks nicely. I remember this being like such a pigmented product. Now, Too Faced is still a popular brand, okay? Don't get me wrong. They're still like that girl. They're still out there popping. But do you guys remember like how cool Too Faced was? I remember around 2011 when I wanted to do influencing and I wanted to do makeup. I remember Too Faced is the brand that I would always try to purchase. I would try to purchase their stuff on clearance or wherever I could get it so I would have enough makeup to start a channel and at least have something to talk about because I didn't have anything. You know, I only had just like a couple pieces of crusty drugstore makeup back then and I didn't really have money, so I would always go shop the clearance side of Too Faced because they were such a hot commodity back then. Lord, did I know where it would take me. I did not, but I'm so happy I did it. And I told the founder of Too Faced, I told him that. I did whenever. You guys remember, okay, we're gonna talk about Peach Palette, but do you guys remember I was the face of the Peach collection whenever it came out? When it came out, we were in the back room. We had this party in LA and there was like 200 people there. I'm not kidding, like it was crazy, okay? So we're in the back room because we're gonna come out and do a little speech. Jared's gonna give a speech. I'm gonna do a little speech. And I told him in this speech, I wanna tell how me and my mom used to go to the clearance side of Too Faced and like try to get some little pieces. I still have a couple of pieces that I got on clearance, okay? Now I'm doing a speech with all these people at like 200 people in LA with Too Faced and being the face of one of their campaigns. It's like, yeah, I probably manifested that, but that was just like so big for me. And like, I was just like, whoa, that was a very big highlight in my career. By the way, this palette is so old. They're still making it, still selling it because it's such a hit. But the crazy thing is that it still smells like peaches after all these years. This is my original palette. I'm never gonna get rid of it because of memories. So I'm just gonna do this. I still do this. I love the little cutout that it gives you. It's so nice. Gorgeous. I think we should do our brows next. Now, one of the, you know what me and Manny would always say? We'd always know if someone was a subscriber of ours in public if they had their brows done. Like Snatch with Dip Brow. We'd be like, she's got a brow on. She's gonna know who you are. Every time they would be like, oh, are you Manny? Are you Laura? We'd be like, we knew. Girl, you got that brow snatched. Okay, it was always the eyebrows. And we all know that the Dip Brow pomade, even though it was probably misused in a lot of different ways, It was the product, okay? There was none of these plastered, electrocuted brows that we all like to do now. It was all about the bold, heavy brow, which made me look kind of masculine in some pictures. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I had some pretty fantastic brow days back then, but there were some times where I saw myself and honey, I said, oh my God, did I go outside like that? You know, because the brows got a little thick at times. The thicker the brow, the better was the case. I think we're definitely gonna look back at some of these electrocuted brows and like fight ourselves for doing that to ourselves. Like, I definitely think that's coming right around the corner. So I'm just gonna I have not filled my brows in like this in a minute. So I'm just gonna kind of do how I did back then with this product. Mine's a little dried out. The thing about dip brow is you could almost never use a whole tube of this before it dried out because it would last you so long and the product was just so pigmented. It still is. It's crazy, I tell you. It's crazy. I remember one time back then, it's probably like 2017, 2018, I did this full tutorial, okay? And back then, we got millions of eyes on all my videos, okay? That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of eyes. And I did the full look and I forgot to put on eyebrows. You guys, the comments were so crazy. They were like, is this a joke? Because eyebrows were like the pinnacle of makeup back then. And I did a full look with no eyebrows. By the way, that transformation's insane. I need to go back to using dip brow. What am I doing right now? Enough with the brow pencils. Enough with electrocuted brows. This brow looks so good. I'm going back. I recently came up on my 11 years on YouTube. March is my 11 years, but I recently hit that point. And it's really crazy because whenever I started my channel that long ago, like I was really determined to do this. Like never been more determined to do anything in my life. And what's crazy is like when I started back then, I think it was 2012, I started the channel in March. I never stopped. Like I never stopped. Like I never was like, oh, I'm just gonna take 2 months off and like make sure I wanna do that. No, like once I got that channel going, there was never a moment where I paused. It was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm so happy doing this. Like I want to do this forever. And like every week I made videos and videos and videos. So it's a really cool place to be now. You know what I mean? Okay, we gotta carve out a little bit. That's just part of the rules. That's just part of the eyebrow rules. Oh, these brows look so good though, you guys. I honestly might have to go back to using a little dip brow. Y'all are gonna scream and be like, girl, but it looks so good. I feel like I'm better at makeup now, but that just goes with time. Like every artist, with time, you just get better and better the more you do it. But I feel like I'm better at makeup now. I'm more patient now, so yeah, things are better for me. Okay, I wanna go ahead and add some highlighter because I would say brows and highlighter and like a heavy eyeshadow look and a big ass lash was like the thing. There are a couple highlighters that, you know, were the ones that made people a lot of money. One was the ABH X Omrezi, which this one is still in full force. Like this one is still that girl. And this is my old one, by the way. Omrezi is so sweet. I remember one time I was running low on mine and she literally like had one sent to my house like that. And I think that's this one. But anyways, so pretty and sickening. Before that one was Opal by Becca. And I know you guys know about Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop that they went through. It was like the highlighter of the time. But before that, there was Opal, and Opal was that girl. Opal, I believe, is like how Champagne Pop came to be because Opal was such a good highlighter. Like Becca highlighters got so popular. Now, I said once, I don't even think Becca's a brand anymore, and they kind of aren't, but they kind of are a brand. So it's weird. Smashbox sells Becca products on their website, but Becca is kind of like not in Sephora, not really anywhere to be found. They just have a couple products that get sold on the Smashbox Cosmetics website. So I don't know what the tea is with that, but hey, baby, I'm all about teaming up. I'm all about, you know, making what works in business, making it work. So I think that's actually pretty cool. And I still have this one too. It's called, oh, this is Champagne Pop. Oh my God, I do have Champagne Pop. Look at me. Look, this one's more golden. I like it. Okay, this is the part of the video where we had to brace ourselves because I'm gonna go through a couple eyeshadow palettes that you may have forgot about. The first one, the Violet Voss X Laura Lee. So tell me y'all remember this because I remember them reaching out to team up with me, and I actually was kind of a small creator still, so I was kind of like, why do they want to work with me? Like I love their palettes and I had talked about them on social media, so they reached out to me. I was like, would you want to work with us on a palette? And like there were like YouTuber collabs and like influencer collabs were just like not really a a thing. So I was like, really? Anyways, we sold the hell out of these palettes, and I know some of you guys still have it. This is still such a good color story and palette, and the pan layout's still gorgeous. So this, in a way, is kind of timeless because all of these colors are still it, you know? The thing is, I could create a 2024 makeup look with this bone beige shade and these neutrals through here, and then I could get colorful and do 2016 still. So it's very interesting. Also, you guys, Kat's pajamas. Oh my, Kat's pajamas changed my life in a lot of ways because when I came out with this palette, I thought I made the most stunning palette ever, and I was getting my toes wet in makeup creation. Keep in mind, I started my makeup line in 2017 without an investor, without anyone guiding me or helping me on how to market and what to do, and I just kind of created. And that's why this palette kind of looked like an uncohesive mess, as well as the logo, which we changed all that. But this palette, actually, we sold a ton of them, and people actually love this palette because this color story is so nice in this palette. It's just the packaging is crazy, like me. But anyways, this turned out to be a really big success. I remember being at a really low whenever I thought, when I showed this palette to the world, like the feedback was gonna be amazing because I loved it so much. My aesthetic has changed so much. It's so funny looking at this. Girl, I would never create this anymore. But I was in a low place because of the feedback was just like, and it was like coming from people that I loved in the industry, and they were just like, girl, this palette's a mess. And I was just like so hurt. And I remember I bought my first self-help book in an airport because I was so low. And to this day, like, it changed my life because it kind of pushed me into my self-help world, which just changed everything and my mindset for me. And it was all because I came out with an ugly palette. So isn't it funny how life can be sometimes? But there's Kat's pajamas. You gotta love her. This also broke the internet. Miss Jaclyn Hill could sell some makeup now, okay? So her Morphe palette, also the color story in this, pan appeal, pan layout, so good. I don't know what happened here, but so good. And again, this is a palette that you could still be using, like, truly, and get all the good colors because this palette has like every color in it. So love this guy. And then we have to talk about Modern Renaissance, which, oh my God. It was like all about the warm tones, warm tone, warm tone, warm tone, this red, this cherries. They really did that with this palette. And the formula was chef's kiss. I still have mine from back then. It's been used and loved. Look at all these colors. Insane. Then we're still going. Oh man, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed Semi-Sweet. This is the second chocolate bar palette. So pretty. Not as good as the first. Is the sequel ever as good as the first? I don't know. Let me go grab the other one. Okay, I got it. This is the original chocolate bar. This is the Semi-Sweet. So this is the original. Still smells like chocolate. I don't know what they put in here, but it still smells like chocolate. And also really cool color story there. The tin packaging. And then of course you got the sweet peach. Oh my gosh. Also a very pretty color story. Like, I think all these color stories were honestly gorgeous. And what Pan Appeal is the layout of the colors in the packaging. And you're taught, as I learned with my business and working with people and labs and just gaining experience, when you make a palette, you want your Pan Appeal to be right, because that's what's gonna sell your product. So your eyeshadows that you pick, that's great and all, but what really matters is how you lay them out in the palette. And you're taught to always start with your lighter shades here and let it go like this into darker shades. You get that, like, into darker shades. So you see that trend a lot through eyeshadow palette, and it's a known Pan Appeal that people like to see before they buy a palette. They like a color layout like that. So when the colors are kind of all over the place, you know, it can hurt sales of a palette. You'll see that in Jaclyn's palette as well. Look at the Pan Appeal. Ooh. I even did it with my palettes too here. I know the Violet Voss team helped me with the layout of this one a little bit, but they let me do the layout myself. But again, we have the lighters to the darkers, and then same with Kat's pajamas, the lighters to the dark. Okay, I nailed that. I nailed the Pan Appeal. At least I got one thing right. And the formula. The formula's sickening, okay? But I think I'm gonna use Modern Renaissance today. And I think they still sell this. So I'm gonna take a Morphe M573 brush. You guys are like, wow, what year is it? Set my little fingerprinted mirror up. I'm gonna go in with Golden Ochre, and I wanna do a neutral eye look. Well, this palette's neutral, but like if I were to wear eyeshadow today, I wanna do it how I would do it, but with 2016 eyeshadow, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna take this golden shade, kinda as a nice little base. Some people ask, do I miss 2016 and 2000, all those years? And I like what they were for what they were, but would I like to go back? Hell no. Hell no. When you have that many eyes on you, and at that time you have this, by the way, I'm going in with burnt orange. sorry, burnt orange right there. You have this massive influx of people watching social media, okay? Watching YouTubers more so, and Instagram. Instagram is popular for pictures, but you know, YouTube's where you get your video content, and then that's what's going on at that time. And you don't have exactly a massive influx of influencers. So you have a ton of people watching, just a few people online, which is great and all, but the pressure that puts on an individual, like I came from Alabama, like I wasn't born in this hustle bustle city like a lot of people were. Like I am not from LA, so like this public life, I just did not know exactly how to navigate it, and it was a lot of eyes on me very quickly, and I feel like you make a lot of mistakes with that because I had no idea what I was doing. I was just me, and I was just like, I'm just this girl, like I know who I am, and I'm just gonna live my life, and it's just not like that, you know what I mean? And like I wish I knew more back then, but hindsight's 2020. But I'm so happy to where I'm at today, and I had to go through everything back then to get to where I'm at today, so I really guess I can't complain. But if I could go back, I would do, you know, a few things differently for sure. But I learned from all my mistakes, and I've learned from, I don't know, just like so much in my life that I'm so happy about who I am, where I'm at today. I'm happy with my followers that are with me, and I would not go back, okay? I don't need to learn the lessons again. I just focus on myself, mind my business. And I say this on the podcast a lot, but one thing I didn't have a really good grasp on was like perception's reality. So you have to be careful about like what you're posting. And I'll give you an example of that. So for instance, whenever I post a picture of myself, I would often get comments. They'd be like, I wish I could just drink Dr. Pepper and eat hot Cheetos all day and look like that. That's what people would say about me. And I didn't take offense to it, but I was like, why do people always say that about me? And I sat down with a team, and they were like, well, that's what you post. That is their perception. So that's their reality of you. They think you don't work out. They think you don't do anything but sit down and you just eat Dr. Pepper and Cheetos because that's all you've shown. If you don't want people to think that, you have to show more, and you have to be careful about what you're showing. And I was like, oh my God, that has to do with everything. Like if you want people to think that you're into fitness, you have to show them you're into fitness because they only see what you show them. So perception is reality. While that may not be your reality, that's the reality that they have of you. So that was a really hard lesson to learn. I wish I would have learned that one earlier because I probably would have been like smarter about the things I would do, say, post. I would have kept my friendships way more private, and just all those things. They came together and I figured it out, but it took some time. I feel like low-key people that are from LA had like a leg ahead of me because you know that you're around this industry, but like I came from Alabama where like I've never heard of like perception's reality or even thought about that, you know? I was just like, I know me and I love me and I'm true to me and my friends and family love me. And I was like, yeah, but like then show people who you are if you want them to know the real you know? So that was all something I had to navigate, engage, but yeah, we got there. We got there, baby. And now we have a podcast and we talk about it. By the way, I'm adding Tempera, which is this lightest bone shade, to my inner lid right here for a matte look. And I'm using a little bit of the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer, and I'm only, you know, I'm gonna carve out a little. I still do this, but not too much, honey. I remember back then, I love talking about all this stuff. It's like nostalgia for me too. Like if you did a neutral eye look for like 2 videos in a row, people would start revolting. They would be like, you do the same look in every video. We're sick of it. They would want the color and creativity, and I literally would just want my eyeballs to look like this. But I would be like, okay, fine, I'll do a colorful look. It's just so funny to think about nowadays. Like I remember being like, oh dang it, I've done a neutral look so many times. I gotta do a colorful look today. And it's not like I didn't like doing colorful looks. It just took a lot more work and effort and energy, and like I wanted my eyes to look like this most of the time. Okay, we're gonna take this umber brown. It's like a warm brown, warm espresso-y, chocolatey brown. And I'm gonna do a little liner. What eyeliner did I wear back then? I feel like I did wear, this is not showing up, by the way. I need this to build up, but I think it was the KVD liquid liner, no? That I wore back then? What liner did I wear back then, you guys? Tell me. I feel like I wore the Inglot one a lot, which I wore that one the other day, and it leaked on me. It like smudged, so I was like, I'm never wearing this again. Why did I wear this? That Inglot number 77. It's like a good liner, don't get me wrong, but it just like, it was kind of everywhere when I got home. And I was like, I don't remember this one being so leaky, so maybe that was a me problem. Do you guys remember when ABH, like their eyeshadow palettes were on top of the world because they did this modern Renaissance palette? So like their eyeshadow palettes were just like insanely popular, and then they came out, it was called Sub something, it was like in a blue velvet packaging, but the lab messed up the formula and it was like crazy. Like the formula was insane. Like if you touched it, the colors were like exploding everywhere. Like it was a mess. And the internet roasted them because it's like, baby, when you're at the top of the food chain and you come out with a bust of a palette, like you're gonna get red to filth. You can't even see my mouth. Trust and believe you're gonna get red to filth. So they got red to filth, and that was sad for them, but that was a horrible palette. I was like, what did the lab do? But that does suck because you have to remember, like, labs create makeup. You know, you approve certain things and then whatever happens, happens. So there has to be checks and stuff like that, but that sucks. That palette really was a flop. Okay, we have eyeliner done. I probably would have done a thick black liner back then, but I told you we're doing a mixture. So I want to take, before we continue, this was probably one of the most popular shades. I want to take this on a pencil brush and just kick it in the inner corner. So we're gonna use a Morphe E36. E36? What is Morphe doing now? That's the real question. What is Morphe up to now? We talk a little bit about that on the podcast because me and Manny were such huge affiliates back then for Morphe. So we like to talk about, you know, where they're at now, and they always have a little tea going on. I think they're chilling. I think they're a lot smaller now, but they're not as talked about through influencers. So obviously they're gonna be smaller, but I don't really know what they're up to these days. All right, guys, we're gonna curl the lashes. We're gonna do a little bit of mascara, and we're gonna be on our way. For mascara, we have the Benefit Roller Lash. And I remember they came out with this during that time. And Benefit has always been that girly when this one is so good. Wait. Benefit's been that girly though with the mascaras. They've had the mascara game on lock for a long time. And they still do. They know how to make a good mascara, that is no doubt. So let's go ahead and do our lips, and then we'll come back around to lashes, because, you know, your girl wore a pretty big lash. So for lips, do you guys remember the Kylie lip kits? You guys are like, no duh, we remember the Kylie lip kits. Well, these are two of mine from that time frame, Spooky Ookie. I just want to try one on. This one is called Charm. Honey, the liquid lipstick craze. Wait, Charm is so pretty. We need a lip liner. Ooh. Let's use number 9 from Skin. This is breaking the rules. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna take this lippy off. It's actually very pink for this eye look. Okay, who remembers when these went crazy viral? Louboutin started coming out with lipsticks and they were like $100 each, but low-key the prettiest color ever. I kept mine because obviously I'm not gonna throw away a $100 lipstick regardless if I'm using it or not. Y'all, you can literally carry this in your purse. Oh, that's sharp. And have protection. But we're gonna use this super matte, really pretty. Look at that. Honey, yes. Wow, that looks like a $100 lipstick right there. Just kidding. Did anyone actually buy those? I'm not gonna lie, like the formula on them so nice, but I'm just curious. I need a little bit of a lighter color in the center. Maybe a concealer? Do we put a concealer in the center? That kind of looks crazy. Okay, for lashes, you guys, this is my last box of Miami's. I wear a much smaller lash now, but I wanna just hold it up and see it on my eye so we can see what I used to wear. Okay, first of all, we need to cut it, but okay, I'm gonna cut a lot off and focus it towards the end. Holy bagolies. Like in real life, this lash is out to here. Wow, when I said lash, I meant lash. Okay, let me see. You guys, it's like pretty. Like it doesn't look bad at all. It actually brings the look together, but I'm gonna go for a little bit of a smaller lash. Look at that. I'm gonna use some of my little Kiss lashes. So I feel like that's like a little more subtle, but still very pretty. You guys, this is the finished look. Now I would always set my makeup and I pulled my MAC Fix Plus, which is just a product I've been using forever, but I can't remember. I know Urban Decay All Nighter was one, but I can't remember all the different setting sprays. Can you tell me what I used to use? I would say Urban Decay All Nighter, maybe MAC for sure, but I can't remember the others. Like, what were the other setting sprays I was obsessed with? And why don't I remember? Probably because it was like 7 years ago and there's a bazillion setting sprays on the market today. But anyways, this is my, you know, full coverage, highlighter, low blush, pretty decent eye look, dip brows, This is my 2016 merge with 2024 makeup using all these products you probably forgot existed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys subscribe to my channel before you leave. I don't know if there'll be more videos like this, but maybe we can do something fun like this in the future. But this was so much fun to kind of go through and get to chat with you guys about the past. I love you guys. Thank you for being here and watching, and I'll see you in the next video.